Good morning, everybody. It's Charlie here from the Active Partnerships National team. Thank you very much for dialing into today's call. Really pleased that we've got School Letting Solutions, Nick Bowen, joining us here today. Just a bit of context, really. As I uploaded onto Slack, we've coordinated this webinar mainly in response to your feedback. We know a number of your schools may be working with school lettings or another commercial provider in your locality. So today is very much about understanding how a commercial model such as School Letting Solutions works, and for Nick to share some of the intelligence and approaches they have, really to bring up to speed our knowledge and understanding of a commercial letting agency, which then hopefully will help you as you progress your desk research and mapping stages. As we've already mentioned before, we're still in a desk research mapping phase, so a number of you are still identifying which schools to work with on a more one-to-one basis. So today isn't about jumping to those solutions, it's very much about us broadening our knowledge of the various options. And as you start to talk to schools, they may mention providers such as School Lettings. So hopefully today will be useful to better understand the business model, so that you're better aware when you're having those discussions with SLT in local schools. The purpose of today's presentation is very much to give a background to School Letting Solutions, their current approach to working with schools, their business model. They've also got a facility upgrade option for schools, and then really to talk about how they can look to work with active partnerships moving forwards. So, like I said, this is hopefully the beginning of a conversation, and to try and speak to you en masse, and you may then want to speak to Nick following the call to discuss how you could look to work with them moving forwards as one of the different solutions when the time's right. So I'll stop waffling there. I have recorded this so you can share with colleagues who may not have been able to join the call, and I'll hand over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Charlie, and thanks for the extensive introduction. So a little bit about me. So my name is Nick Bowen. I'm head of new schools here at School Letting Solutions. And without spoiling any of the context of my presentation, I've worked for the company for 4.5 years in a variety of roles, from venue managers, you'll find out what they do later, progressing through to regional and national manager, and now heading up the commercial operations for School Letting Solutions. So equally an extensive knowledge and experience base. And hopefully today from the presentation and any questions that you have later, we'll be able to answer them and hopefully move our partnership forward to look at individual schools following the presentation. Okay, so first of all, welcome and thanks for taking the time to listen to School Letting Solutions on what we're about. And like I said, we'll start the presentation from here. So first of all is about how our journey started and who we are. Who do we work with and how we will work harder for you. We will also look at some finances in terms of case studies of real schools that are out there, added value in terms of capital investment and equal opportunities in terms of what we can offer you, and then finish off with why you should come with SLS, or equally why you should look at lettings and income generation for your prospective schools. So without further ado and without technical difficulties here, I'm hoping that this video will work for you. Instead of hearing me waffle on for a couple of minutes, this is how our journey started with SLS.
Nick,
well, it looks like it's not sharing, so unfortunately you're probably going to have to hear me now. So from here, I'll start from here. So SLS was formulated 6 years ago by our directors, Paul Andrews and Scott Warrington, who had 15 years extensive experience working within schools with community engagement and income generation. From there, you can probably see the likeness of obviously the roles within the school, and then why SLS was formulated. They thought that they could share their idea across the country in terms of offering opportunities to schools, academies and colleges alike in terms of making the most of their assets in terms of income generation. So 6 years ago, they started the business and they had 2 schools sign up. They went through a really quick growth period in terms of doubling numbers in year two and excess of that. And currently now, 6 years on, we work with 306 partner schools with quite a number of others in our pipeline in terms of opening up over the next couple of months. What we do is we engage the community. make the most of your assets. And then obviously in terms of income generation as well, not only through lettings, but also footfall of potential students going forward as well. So what do we do currently and who do we work with? So at the moment we work with 298 open schools, 86 in the Northwest, 77 in Yorkshire, 88 London and 47 in Midlands. And as you can see, that's an extensive geographical locations around the country, all the way from Northumberland all the way to the south in the Isle of Portland, which is just off the coast of Weymouth. We've got 24 more schools booked in to open in the next 3 months, and we plan on opening 8 schools every month from here on outwards. We work with a variety of independent state schools, MAT academies and colleges, and we work with schools from 38 pupils to 2,200. So equally from there you can see that no school or educational establishment, I should say, is out of reach for ourselves, and like I said, we can make each and individual one work. And then a couple of interesting facts from you from the end of the last academic year. Over 10 million people attended our sites, 900,000 hours booked in our facilities, over 300,000 different varieties of bookings, and bookings included presentations by astronauts, Quidditch, stand-up paddleboard, and even Jedi lessons. And equally then, we do work with such national partners such as British Gymnastics, Pauline Quirk Academy, and England Netball, which equally not only gives you a wide variety and diversity of bookings, but equally the opportunities for not only the students of each particular school, but also the local community as well. Again, looking back at that footfall of introducing children at a young age to your schools, and in terms of when they're picking options for the schools that they want to attend, you're always at the forefront of their thoughts. So how do we do it? So obviously from here now you can see a model in terms of our staffing model, so from directors, for regional managers, school managers and assistant managers who manage on the floor, and a sports and leisure assistant. And what we do is we're a fully managed service. So we do everything. I often use the analogy that if you give us the keys to the school, we'll give you a check at the end of the year, and you should have no other problems than that, other than touching base with us on operational calendars, etc. In terms of if there's any changes, obviously, to the operation procedures at that particular school. So from what we do is when we come in, is we'll go through an extensive onboarding process, pre-sales in terms of ensuring that the school hits the ground running. And then from there, we will also do a keys and codes meet to ensure that we know the school inside and out. We open the school only when lettings are on, so saving on staffing costs, but equally then making sure the school's facilities are available to community users. We generally come in after the school have finished, so just say 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then we run lettings from up till 9, 10 p.m. in the evening. From there, our staff, our on-ground staff, will be present at the school at all times when bookings are on. Equally then, looking at the customer service element, security in terms of opening and closing the school, and also set up for that particular client, ensuring liability insurances, etc., etc. From there then, they are managed obviously by our school managers and assistant managers, who then actively go and seek new business or new bookings and such in terms of income generation, while also then ensuring that the health and safety and logistics of that site are working well. They then come into regional managers, and like I said, with the depth of understanding and their knowledge base of local areas, can really push those school managers and assistant managers to ensure that we're delivering on our promise, not only with income generation, but equally the operational service as well. We also employ 100 full-time members of staff from administration to sales and marketing and design, ensuring that not only you as a school, but equally the clients receive a world-class service. We also have 700 plus sports and leisure assistants across our schools, again, across the country. In terms of delivering partners, we work with a number of key partners, including the NSBCC, who sign all our safeguarding off, and equally then working with the likes of Sport England in terms of keeping up to date with bidding procedures we'll talk about later, and equally the opportunities that can arise from using school facilities, and certainly they published that 39% of sporting facilities are actually hidden behind school gates. So equally, it's in their best interest to ensure that the health and well-being of the community, schools are open and more facilities are available for people to use. I always like to bring it back to the why we do what we do, and equally the opportunities that are open to you as schools. And this is a live picture from one of our schools in South London, Chinese school, which generally has 300 to 400 people pass through the site every Sunday afternoon with an extensive range of language classes, drama provision, etc. And when students and teachers leave on a Friday afternoon and come back on a Monday, it really is exciting to see the opportunities that that school can give to the wider community. So equally then, how will we work harder for you? So this year was a revolutionary year in terms of digital for us. We opened our new booking system, which we named SLS Live, and that's a live availability. And to be honest, it's one of the only ones in the country. So in terms of that, those who finish work at 10, 11 o'clock at night can actually log on, pick their facility, pay for their booking, and get booked in for the next day. And equally, if the school is open and we have space, they could literally book in at 10 to 6 for a 6 o'clock start. And in terms of that, then captures all information, including personal details, public liability insurance, and they can also make payment on any debit or credit card from there. From there, then it passes over to our school manager, who will vet the booking to make sure they say who they say they are. It's suitable for the school to let those people in, and then they confirm the booking, and off they go in terms of using that facility with all money and administration collected using the system. We are also now pushing really hard on digital marketing in terms of PPC and Facebook ads, and really pushing the SEO. So if you type in lettings or across Google searches in your particular area, hopefully, like I said, from the school lettings will pop up, and like I said, each individual facility from there, and including sports as well. Equally to that, we do have a lot of national governing body partnership links, as discussed earlier, through British Gymnastics, England Netball, just to name a few, which equally then gives us the opportunity to really hit the ground running when we start with the school, as we push these partners into opening sites with us to equally give people opportunity. How do we do what we do, and why do we arrive at the decisions that we do? Is we use a system called Tableau, or it's very similar to Power BI, which a lot of people have heard of, which collates all our data in terms of the 6 years extensive experience that we've had across our 300 sites in terms of utilisation and facilities and local competitor rates. And we can really then produce performance KPIs based upon revenue, staff, operational service, school relationship and utilisation, which we really push our managers to achieve to ensure that we're promising on our service guarantee to yourself. Equally from there then, we have also introduced this year NPS, which stands for Net Promoter Score, and this measures our service to both schools and hirers alike. And equally from there, emails get sent out with a simple question: would you recommend us to a friend? With 0 being poor and 10 being very well, and then equally with a text box underneath to add any additional feedback. Each one of those feedback is acted upon all the way from director level all the way through to manager, ensuring that our quality of service is kept at a maximum and any improvements that can be made are followed through with. And equally this year, we've had a number of key appointments in the business in terms of school letting solutions to push us to the next level, in terms of a new operations director, finance director, bringing in a new recruitment and training team to really push us forward to ensure that not only are we currently the market leader, but equally then the world-class service that will continue us to stand us in good path going forward into the future. When we do recruit, we go through full induction with all our staff, all the way from the director level, as we've just been saying, all the way through to our SLAs on the ground floor. Everyone there will be given a DBS, and no one will be allowed on school sites or working within your schools without a full DBS check. And equally from there, we also recognise that our school lettings assistants who are on the ground, the day-to-day people in your schools, are the most important people in our business. And it's important that through reward and recognition, even though they work remotely, that's noticed. And we have a number of internal communications that keep people up to date in terms of where we're going as a business and our new procedures. And equally from there, we have invested into Perkbox, if any of you have heard of that, which is a platform in terms of which we pay a subscription for every member of staff, which gives them free cinema tickets, free coffees, percentage off their food shopping each week, ensuring that we recognise the hard work that they do for us in terms of making sure your schools are safe and obviously the community are using your facilities. And finally, this year, we've also included audit managers in terms of looking at the customer experience, hire experience, from start to finish. So from the booking all the way through to starting, looking at your schools in terms of lighting, in terms of signage, what the facilities like to use, and certainly making sure that that hirer is getting the best possible service going forward. So I'd like to look at a couple of case studies for you. So the first one that I would look at, and like I said, there are references at the bottom of each of those slides, and still from there, please feel free to contact those at any time. So we started with St Edward's College, and this one does have a little bit of meaning for me because this was one of my old schools when I started with the company. So we inherited £30,000 worth of clients in current lettings from the school when we started, and we actually proposed the figure to reach to £80,000 in year one. And equally by the end of year one, we achieved 103,000. Now, I've not just picked the creme de la creme of what we've actually done, but equally from the building that relationship with the school to make it the hub of the community, and equally then a capital investment of up to £30,000 in a gym membership facility, not only increasing revenue, but ensuring the school and local people can benefit from that as well. The next school that I want to show you is Harris Bermondsey, which is in the opposite side, which is in the south of London. So we took this over from one of our competitors with inherited income of over £185,000 in this September, September 2019. We proposed figures that we would get to 215 by the end of this August of 2020, and we currently sit on 216,000. So from a competitor within 3 months of the academic year, we've increased year-to-year figures by 11% without even opening the doors of that school, and we'll continue to push and have every confidence of reaching that achieved target by the end of this academic year going forward. Again, looking at the options that we can bring to your school in terms of, again, the footfall, local community, diversity of bookings, and everything that is available to you and your schools through the lettings provision. What can we add as SLS in terms of added value? We have a proven record of investments into school facilities, upgrades in equipment, surfaces and facilities, as we'll touch on shortly, and equally then additional benefits in terms of relief caretaking service, free health checks for staff, and free first aid courses and defibrillators if schools obviously haven't already got them. So the case study in terms of capital investment will be at Walworth. So it's a large school in the London Borough of Southwark. And we do have an extensive relationship with the Arc Academies Trust. So in regards to our Walworth, they had a small size parliamentary pitch or multi-use games area in terms of which wasn't well used and wasn't fit for purpose for lettings. And in early 2019, it fell into a state of disrepair. So in terms of that, we then invested £55,000 into resurfacing that surface, and from there we're expected a 60% revenue hike in terms of results, and not only in terms of further income generation, but equally then as well, the school provision of PE have got a brand new 3G facility in terms of what they can use on a day-to-day basis. And again, the reference at the bottom of the page there, feel free to contact David at any time. Again, just looking at a fantastic picture here in terms of what it actually brings, and certainly when teachers have walked through the facilities, either you've worked late in terms of marking or you've called in over the weekend to pick something up, it's really good to see what actually goes on in your schools when, if SLS or a letting provider wasn't there, the opportunities wouldn't be there for people to take part in the activities they do. So in conclusion, why choose SLS? We're driven by community engagement. We want people to come in and really use the school as the hub of the community. We're really focused on our employees and making sure that training and further development plans are in place for them. And equally then looking at income generation for schools, as we know that budgets are tight and any money that we can give goes back into education and still benefits the children from there. We will deliver on all aspects of our proposal, both income and operational service. We're 3 times the size of our nearest like-for-like competitor, and we have returned over £30 million currently to our schools. And my message is always, let's grow together. What I do propose from the end of this meeting is that with each prospective school, it will take me 90 minutes to come and meet you, have a site visit, and equally then propose what we could offer across a 3-year SLA basis and what your assets obviously could generate you from there. So I'd like to open up. Thank you for any questions, and please make note of my email and telephone number, and please feel free to contact me at any time following the questions at the end of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was really informative. Yeah, and just to echo, we'll open up the floor to questions. I've got one from Joe, but I'll come on to that in a moment. So any questions from anybody?
Hi, it's Damien.
Hi, Damien.
Hi, Damien.
How are you? Are we okay?
Good, thanks.
Good. Right, I've got a quick one, Nick. That was great. It was just a little bit more about. You said you work with the community right at the start of it, and in terms of how that happens, how reflective of the community in which those schools sit is their programme, is what's happening at the school, I guess.
So in regards to what we can offer in terms of the community, and I mean, obviously we spoke a lot there about national governing bodies and opportunities to local communities, what they wouldn't less have in terms of PQA or a Stagecoach or Razzmatazz coming in delivering a drama provision, for example. But equally then, it's really important to recognise the group of friends who maybe have gone to the school in the past, and equally opportunities to them for the sports or the AstroTurf 3G facilities to get together with a competitive price to ensure the health and well-being of that community. So equally from digital SEO and PPC and Facebook ads to on the ground in terms of ensuring that we're going into local cafes, dropping in leaflets, putting banners on the front of schools to ensure that the community know that they're open and the facilities are available to them.
Okay, thanks.
Can I just tease that out a bit more? Thanks, Nick. Thanks for asking it, Damien. It's a point Joe wanted to raise as well. Are you working with the schools to understand what their children and young people want to use in terms of community use as well? So are you supporting them through any focus groups for the children and young people to better understand their immediate needs?
I mean, we don't deliver any practices ourselves, and like I said, we only look at letting of the facilities and generating income through their assets. But equally, we're looking for a wide variety of activities that people can take, not only ensuring that the community have got opportunities, but equally their particular groups have got a chance to grow, and their business organisations or commercial outlets, whatever they may be, have got a chance to succeed as well. So equally, obviously for ourselves, we'll look at the space and utilisation and focus on, if we've not got a drama group, really focus on trying to find a drama group or a dance group, for example, and really push them towards that school. So there's a wide range of activities for that school and community.
Okay. I mean, I think that's where the active partnerships, I mean, it's our bread and butter really, to be very insight driven, understand the needs of that community. So I think there could be connections there around you looking around the facility provision, but us then driving it from a user point of view, which sounds like a good opportunity. Okay, any other questions for Nick?
Sorry, I keep losing you here. I seem to have
Oh, am I back now?
Yeah, go on, you're back now.
Brilliant. Okay. Michael has unmuted himself. So, Michael, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi there. It's Mike Salmon from Active Black Country. I've actually got a couple of questions, if that's all right, if I can kind of get them in the same go. One's a bit of a more practical one. You said the school manager would kind of vet bookings, I suppose. What I'm curious to be what would be the reason for somebody not being approved? And the other one, which I imagine you thought someone would pick you up on, you mentioned, I think, like the St Edward's College, there was kind of a capital investment. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit in terms of what that was. Are you literally going in and putting money into the school? Are you sourcing investment? How does that work? Are you kind of identifying what the needs are to get the school up to scratch? And if you could just elaborate on that a little bit.
I think I caught that, so please excuse me if I don't answer this entirely correctly. The audio seems to keep cutting in and out. But equally, there from the capital investment links is built really upon the relationship of that school, and equally the opportunities not only for return of investment, but then equally the opportunities of health and well-being across that school. So we talked about obviously St Edward's gym in terms of St Edward's building a gym in terms of that's a heavily reliable rugby and hockey school. So obviously the rugby students there have been absolutely crying out for a gym for a number of years. And then equally within a radius of 5 miles, there's no gyms local to that community. So equally then the school benefit in terms of that from what the students can use, and equally then the community have got access, and the footfall throughout that school has increased then by people using that as a membership gym. But that's done on a case by case basis. There's no intended budget for each particular school. Everything's done looking at it to see what we could invest, how we could improve, and then equally moving that forward.
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. The other question was just in terms of kind of vetting, what the reasons might be for someone that.
Just say that again, sorry, Michael.
Yeah, sorry, Nick. The other question was just with regard to vetting and what the reasons might be that the school manager might not approve somebody to have use to the school.
In terms of any political party, etc., which is towards the school, or any events that may want alcohol, any in terms of language classes, in terms of anything that's deemed that's against the school values that the school doesn't want it. And certainly through our onboarding process, we certainly get a clear picture of what the school wants to get from lettings and the types of bookings that they want in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Some really good questions. Anybody else? Okie dokie. Well, I think that's answered all the questions for now. It might just be people need the opportunity to reflect. Can obviously Nick's details on the PowerPoint presentation. It suddenly got really noisy. 1 second, let me just. I don't know if that's my feedback loop. Okay, so that's a bit better. So I think we'll look to wrap it up there. What I would encourage you to do is to re-listen to this webinar recording with any colleagues within your teams, reflect on how you could potentially work with an organisation like Schools Letting Solutions, and then get in touch with Nick directly if you wanted to follow up to discuss your locality and how you could look to work together. Hopefully that sounds all okay. I want to thank Nick again for his time today and for you all for dialing in, and I'll circulate the webinar recording shortly. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.